We got another section called Pro Tips.
Pro Tips.
Pro Tips is for the new investor, maybe who's looking to buy their first laundromat. What advice would you give that person trying to buy their first laundromat?
I have two contradicting statements on that, because the first one is cut as many corners as you can, and the second one is do it right the first time. So
Okay.
figure out how to cut corners and still do it right the first time. And I know those are those sound like two competing arguments. But for example, we build our own bulkheads. That's a huge expense. You got 3 bulkheads at, several $1,000s a piece. I built my last 3 bulkheads for under $1,000 total. And it's like, and now granted, I know how to weld, but I buy steel from the local steel place. I weld it all together, and then I do all my plumbing. I build my plumbing in and all that kind of stuff. So and I speak more to the, even though I do this for my urban areas, for those rural guys who are like, man, can I be profitable? You want to be profitable? Find ways to cut $5,000 or $10,000 off of, a single item, which is, professional bulkhead companies are expensive. They make great products, and I'm not trying to put them out of business, but I can make a bulkhead that looks great. I just got a new distributor, and he looked at my bulkheads. He said, I've never seen these before. And he said, you made these, didn't you? I said, yeah. He said, you can get into the business of making bulkheads. That's just, we're very particular as well about the way things get done. So, cut those corners, things you don't think about when you're building out. If you know how to put a wall plate on a socket, tell your electrician, hey, I'll wire the machines, which saves you money on the install, or the electrician having to do that, which is a simple process. Even putting the whips into even if you preset your sub panels and run the whips to the machines. Okay. But not only that, even if you can't do that, if you can put wall plates on, tell your electrician, I'll put all the wall plates on everything. You know what I mean? Well, there you've just saved, even if it's an hour and you're paying an electrician $80 an hour, you've just saved $80 off that. And a lot of times during that process, you're kind of walking around not doing much. So it's things like that where where can I cut corners on this? Okay, tell your plumber, I can do the plumbing into the trunk line or into the pit or whatever. As a new guy, all those corners you can cut that are still that you can still do them professionally, but you can cut out every expense that is unnecessary. Where they just go, I'll just pay somebody to do that. A lot of times it's just hard to. That's where you get extended, and you're watching. You're watching your numbers really quickly. The other thing I would have for new owners that I get a lot is, as soon as they open, they watch their daily deposits and they watch their cameras nonstop. And if you want to get gray hair and have a heart attack at 35, watch your cameras and that's for owners now.
Everybody,
that's secret sauce too. Stop looking at your daily reports and stop looking at your cameras.
Yeah.
You're never going to know what your numbers are going to be off a daily. I don't hardly ever look at weekly. On my new stuff I do for 6 months, I look at weekly, but it comes down to, I do monthlies. I look at what my monthly is, and if it's unusual, I address that, and maybe I'll watch my weeklies again. But stop watching your stinking cameras and stop looking at your daily reports. That will that'll stress anybody out.
That's good advice, because I do remember when I first got cameras in there in my first laundromat, and I would watch them all the time on my phone or on the computer or whatever. I'd see what's going on over there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I get anxiety when I was getting ready to pull it up, because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to see in there. Right. And even the daily reports, I'd have a random, Wednesday where almost nobody came to the laundromat. I'm like, oh my gosh.
But then bankrupt. What's wrong?
Yeah. But then Thursday, everybody showed up Thursday, and, but the daily fluctuation can cause anxiety for sure.
Yeah. It'll strain you really hard. And, I remember when I first started, I'd be watching the cameras and I'd be like, oh, that guy has a coin jam. Just press it hard. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to drive a half hour? Are you going to drive an hour to go help a guy with a coin jam?
Right.
It's if there's a problem, and that's the other thing. I feel like I have 1,000 secret sauces. I used to post my personal number for an emergency call number. I started getting calls at 11 o'clock at the night, guys asking where they put the soap in the soap tray.
Yeah.
So I actually got a call service now that has my voice pre-recorded that gives them a list of options. Hey, if you have a coin jam, press 1. Hey, fill out a refund request form and we'll give you your money back. Stuff like that. Yeah. That has cut down on so much, and actually has helped my customer service that much better, because I'm not answering the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. Tick.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So for for the new guys, especially in those areas, when money's really tight, which money's tight for a lot of people, but when money's really tight and you're really just trying to make something profitable in a small town, cut your corners while still having a professional product, high quality. Yeah. Don't cut the corners and go cheap, buy once, cry once, but cut the corners where you can. If you're contractor, if you can help your contractor, if you can do drywall, do the drywall, have a contractor frame it, you do the drywall, or vice versa. All those little things. If you can install a toilet, say, hey, I'll install, you get the plumbing there, I'll install the toilet, I'll install the sink. I mean, all those things you don't realize, but you pay a plumber $80 an hour, $90 an hour, and they can take 2 hours to do that. So, it's all pennies, but at the end of the day,
they add up.
2009 taught us the pennies make you or break you.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome pro tip. I mean, I think it's good. And I like the, just the contrast between, hey, cut the corners, but make it quality still. So I think that's great advice.